My wife keeps telling me something that's just flat out wrong, even though it's easy to prove otherwise, and she's sticking to it like it's the truth. It's a weird, very specific issue I've run into with her, and honestly, I'm just confused more than anything. Let me explain. My wife is an incredible chess player, truly impressive. She used to play in real tournaments and even earned a title. At her peak, I think her FIDE rating was somewhere in the 2200 to 2300 range. She's the real deal. Me, not so much. I like chess, but I'm nowhere near her level. I've got an online rating around 1000, so I'm more of a hobbyist. Lately, our 11-year-old son has started taking an interest in the game, so we've been teaching him together. Before we started, my wife and I agreed that we wouldn't take it easy on him. We figured it would help him more if we played at our actual skill level, so he could learn, analyze his games, revisit important positions, and figure out better strategies. We were totally on the same page about that. But when she plays with him, she doesn't follow through. She lets him win, doesn't even come close to using her full ability. Over the last few weeks, they've played about 25 games, and he actually has a winning record against her, which is kind of crazy. Just to give some context, over the 14 years we've been together, I've probably played around 1,000 games with her. Not once have I beaten her. She destroys me every time. There was one time, maybe a few years ago, when she had the flu, I managed to hold her to a draw with a perpetual check from a losing position. I was so proud of that. I still remember it. Honestly, that draw is probably the best chess I've ever played. The only way I could beat her outright is if she falls asleep during the game and loses on time. That's how far apart our skill levels are. So here's what's been messing with my head. Every time I try to talk to her about it, she flat out denies it. She swears she's giving it her all and that our son is winning fair and square, but that's just not true. And before anyone suggests that maybe our son is some kind of genius playing on a level I can't grasp, that's not what's happening. I've watched their games. He plays like a beginner. I even ran a few of their games through an engine, and the engine basically gave up. It was that bad. This isn't just my opinion. The games are objectively awful. My wife passes up obvious captures, trades poorly, makes strange, nonsensical moves, and avoids simple tactics that I could see a mile away. I mean, this is a woman who can spot a mate in 3 without blinking, probably in 15 if she really tried, and the idea that she's just missing those chances is ridiculous. When I play our son, I win every time. It's not his fault. He's still learning, but he's at the point where he'll still fall for things like scholar's mate or blunder a piece early in the game. But the part one can't get past is how my wife keeps insisting she's playing seriously. She says it with so much honesty that I almost start believing she truly thinks it's the truth. I'm beginning to wonder if something might be going on mentally, because I can't make sense of this. We usually have great communication. This is completely out of character for her. I've brought it up more than once now, but every time I do, I feel like I'm losing my grip. It's hard to even start the conversation when we can't agree on what's clearly happening right in front of us. It's like trying to talk about building a sailboat when the other person isn't sure what water is, or denies that cloth and wood exist. I'm just stuck. To top it all off, now my son doesn't want to play chess with me anymore, because I always win, and he finds it discouraging. If this were simply about my wife realizing that our son could use a little confidence boost and choosing to let him win from time to time, I'd be totally on board. I'd have no problem with that whatsoever. I've told her as much directly. But the thing is, she's firmly stood by the idea that she won't take it easy on him at all. The real issue isn't that she's letting him win, it's that she refuses to admit she's doing it. That's what's so baffling. She's flat out denying something that's plain as day. I have zero interest in crushing my son during games. I just want to help him learn. And my wife had originally made it clear that we should both play at our full strength, no holding back. Even now, I've suggested that maybe we switch things up a bit, and she still insists that we shouldn't go easy. She's been very consistent in saying that playing weekly doesn't help him grow. But then she goes ahead and does exactly that. She plays well below her normal level, and when I ask about it, she swears up and down that she isn't. That's where it starts to feel like gaslighting. I'm completely fine with letting him win sometimes. I've said that multiple times. I'd be happy to take that approach if that's what we agree on. What's making me feel like I'm going crazy is that she keeps saying we should stick to our full abilities, and then she does the opposite, all while telling me she's doing what we agreed on. And no, this isn't just me being picky or overanalyzing things. She's not playing like someone with a 2,200 rating. She's not even playing like someone rated 750. Yet she keeps claiming she's going all out. I'm trying to wrap my head around why she's doing this. They don't even need me to speak. They've already written the script. Apparently, I'm some abusive control freak who's ruining his family's happiness and keeps everyone in fear. I'm just waiting for someone to say I beat my wife if she glances the wrong way or that I punish my son for leaving his socks on the floor. It's honestly laughable. There are a lot of hurt folks out there who carry their trauma into everything they see. And while I'd like to address their concerns, the truth is, it wouldn't do much good. People who are set on seeing monsters will find them no matter what. I can't help them with that. As for my wife, no, I haven't played a game with her in a while. It's been a few months. Maybe it's time we do. This behavior really is unusual for her. She's always been someone I trust deeply. We've always had a strong, loving relationship, and I've always been close with my son. We spend a lot of time playing Minecraft together. Getting to share chess with him lately has been such a joy, especially since it's something my wife and I both love. Honestly, our relationship has been a great one. Some of my favorite memories are those quiet nights with her, just the two of us playing chess, me getting completely wiped out, the two of us laughing, sometimes with a drink in hand. I've never been any match for her, and that's always been part of the fun. I know I'll never be on my wife's level in chess, and that's totally fine. I'm not trying to be. I just enjoy playing, and I'm always curious about how her mind works when she's at the board. It's fascinating. Teaching my son early on was a really good experience. I shared some of the same books that helped me learn when I was starting out. I've walked him through basic openings, taught him how chess notation works, and how to review and mark up his games. We've even watched some online chess streamers together, which has been fun. I can see him picking things up, thinking more about the game. But now, he only wants to play his mom because, well, he's 11, and he's getting easy wins. Can't really blame the kid for that. What's been confusing is my wife. I'd gladly let our son beat me too, it's just not what we had planned. My wife and I had agreed on an approach, and I've stuck with it. She didn't, which is honestly okay. People change their minds all the time. That's not what bothers me. What I can't wrap my head around is her insisting that nothing's changed. It's like the two of us agreed to take a trip to Ohio. We got in the car, and then she drove to Kansas. And when I asked, "Hey, why are we in Kansas? Weren't we going to Ohio?" she looks me in the eye and says, "We're in Ohio right now." That's the part that's throwing me. I have no issue playing against our son. I love teaching him however I can. Like I said before, this whole play at full strength idea came from her. And since she clearly knows what she's doing, I went along with it. I'm not out here trying to beat my son down in every game. I just want my wife and I to be on the same page. So many folks online can't even imagine a dad who isn't getting some twisted joy out of beating their kid at a game. That honestly makes me feel kind of sad for them and what their childhood must have been like. A lot of people have criticized me for putting their games into a chess engine as if that's some kind of cruel or excessive move. But if you play chess seriously, you know that engine analysis is normal. It's how players improve. Everyone does it. You play a game, you plug it in, you study what went wrong or right. It's standard practice. But yeah, I get it. Apparently that makes me toxic and terrible. One of my suggestions was to try playing my wife again and see how she approaches the game. That's something I'll probably do. It's possible she changed her mind after seeing me beat our son a few times. That wouldn't bother me at all. And just to be clear, it's not like I crushed him over and over. We've only played about 8 games. After each one, we talked about what happened, basic strategies, how to develop pieces, control the center, avoid making too many early pawn moves. I'm not shouting, in your face, and walking off. I really believe those games were helpful for him. And if my wife decided that a different approach is better, that's totally fine. I respect her experience. The one and only thing that's bugging me is her insisting she's still following the original plan when she clearly isn't. It's like she's standing there in white clothes and telling me she's dressed in black. Some folks have said maybe she doesn't believe me when I say I'd be okay with letting our son win. I can see where that idea comes from, but I really hope that's not the case. I honestly can't think of anything I've done that would make her doubt me like that. Normally, our relationship is very solid. We're a close-knit family. We communicate well, we're affectionate, and we spend a lot of time together. I don't think I've ever given her a reason not to trust me. I'd happily let my son win if we agreed that's the right move. I'm open to any direction we decide on. The main thing is, we made a choice together, I stuck to it, and she didn't. That alone is okay. People change their minds. But she keeps insisting nothing changed. Some say maybe she's afraid I'll hold it over our son's head because I've never been able to beat her in chess. And look, Those are fair questions. They deserve honest answers. You don't know me, so it makes sense that you might question some of this. But I'd never, ever hold a win over my son's head. I'd never want him to feel small or discouraged. I love that kid. He's my little buddy. He's bright, cheerful, curious, and honestly just a really cool kid. The last thing I'd want is to make him feel like he's not good enough. I get why people might be skeptical, but when it comes to my son, I'm his biggest fan. No question. As for whether I've ever been upset about my wife beating me, sure, maybe a little back when we first met. I was in my early 20s, and yeah, it stung a bit at the start. I wanted to win. But it didn't take long for me to realize she was just on another level completely. It's kind of like expecting to beat Stephen Curry in basketball. Of course I can't. And that's not some personal flaw. He's just that good. Same thing with my wife in chess. She's got serious talent. Sure, there are stronger players out there, but to me, she's the best. My own Steven. I'm not embarrassed that I can't beat her. I'm just impressed. I feel lucky that she shares her knowledge with me. People have asked whether my ego ever gets in the way, or if I've said things in the past that might have made others feel small. And honestly, no, that's not who I am. Ego's never been a big thing for me. Folks around me usually describe me as pretty easygoing and chill. I'm not some angry, prideful guy. About the word crush, yeah, I get it. For folks outside the chess world, it might sound aggressive. But in chess talk, crush just means the game was really one-sided. That's how I describe every game I've ever played with my wife. She absolutely dominates. It's not meant to be harsh or mean. It's just chess shorthand. A bunch of people seemed weirded out by me using a chess engine. Let me explain that a bit. I think some folks just aren't familiar with how normal that is in the chess community. But talk to anyone who's played beyond a beginner level, and they'll tell you, it's standard. If you play a game on website, it immediately offers an analysis board where you can step through every move and see what went right or wrong. In over-the-board games, players record their moves, and afterward, they usually review the game together or use an engine, like my wife and I always do. In fact, analyzing your games is probably more important for getting better than just playing more. Over the years, my wife and I have spent a ton of time going over games, learning together. So running games through an engine isn't aggressive, it's normal. The idea that it's harsh or overbearing just comes from not understanding how the tool works. And yes, my son goes over his games too. Every game he's played, against both me and my wife, he's kept track of the moves and reviewed them afterward with us. Some people seem to think that's way too much for an 11-year-old, but honestly, it's not. He handles it just fine. That said, I get the sense some folks have already made up their minds about me. No matter what I say, they're going to see me as the villain. And if that's the case, there's no point in continuing the conversation with them. Yesterday, when my son got home from school, I asked if he wanted to try a new game I called Switch Chess. Basically, at any point in the game, he could call out switch, and we'd swap sides. He'd take over my pieces, and I'd get his. We gave it a shot, and it was an absolute blast. We were cracking up, just having a great time together. Toward the end, he fed me all his pieces one by one, then shouted switch, and started chasing my poor king around the board. We were both laughing like crazy. We even started a second game right after, still laughing and yelling. He was up out of his chair, dancing around when my wife walked in the door. The second she saw us playing, I could tell something was wrong. She didn't say a word, but she looked furious, like it hit her all at once. She turned around and walked straight to her bedroom. I wrapped up the game with our son, told him we'd play more later, and then headed to check on her. When I asked how her day was, she just said, "Fine." I let the silence sit for a minute, then she asked why I was playing chess with him. I explained the switch chess idea, how he could yell switch whenever he wanted, and we'd swap sides. She didn't like that at all. Right away, she told me not to play with him like that. Said it was bad for his growth. Then she followed up with, "Actually, just don't play with him anymore. You're going to mess him up." That hit me like a truck. It felt harsh, hostile, even. I didn't say anything at first, just looked at her, trying to figure out what was really going on. And then I saw her start to tear up. I moved in to try and hug her, and she just broke. She started sobbing, hitting me, shouting that I couldn't take chess from her, that it was hers. She said I already had everything, and she had nothing, and now I was trying to take this too. She completely lost it. I let her cry it out, didn't interrupt. After a bit, once she calmed down some, I sat beside her and we talked, because we're married, and we love each other, and that's what you do. She opened up and told me she feels like our son loves me more than he loves her. That was shocking to hear, because from where I'm standing, he absolutely adores his mom. But that's not how she sees it. She said she's always felt like he prefers me, that he gravitates toward all the stuff I do with him, playing games, talking, cooking, goofing off together. She said she's jealous of how close we are, that she doesn't feel like she has that kind of connection with him. She brought up that year I stayed home with him when he was little. She said that bond we built during that time is something she feels she missed out on, that I get to share everything with him, and she feels like there's nothing left for her. We play Minecraft, watch videos, have long talks, and now, chess felt like the final thing she was going to lose. She told me she was scared that if I started playing with him too, he'd stop choosing her. That chess was the one place she still had with him, and if I stepped into that space, she'd lose him there too. She admitted that she tried to make it less fun to play with me on purpose, so he'd want to play with her instead. That crushed me. I had no idea she was feeling like this. I mean, sure, my son and I are close, but I always thought he and his mom had their own strong connection too. I never imagined she felt like she was in some sort of competition with me. Turns out, she's been carrying that feeling for years. It hit me hard. She told me she was the one who pushed for the whole "don't let him win" plan, just so she could flip it and be the fun one. When I noticed she was clearly letting him win and asked her about it, she panicked and lied. She admitted it didn't make any sense, but once she started saying she was playing at full strength, she felt trapped. Like she couldn't walk it back, so she just stuck with it. She said she was scared that if I started losing to him too, he'd completely stop playing with her. I asked her why she didn't just talk to me about all this, and she said she was too ashamed, that she knew those feelings were ugly and selfish, and she hated herself for it, but couldn't stop. I just hugged her and told her she's not a bad person. I reminded her how much I love her, how much our son loves her. I told her she's an amazing mom because she is. Truly, it broke my heart to see how badly she was beating herself up over this. She kept calling herself messed up and cruel, saying she'd done something awful. I told her I understood why she did it, and I meant it. Sure, I'm still hurt by what she did. It messed with my head for weeks, wondering if I was losing my grip on reality. But I didn't say any of that in the moment. It wasn't the right time. We'll talk more later, when she's ready. What I did tell her was that I understood how personal chess is for her, and how it must have felt like I was stepping into her space. I said I never want to feel like we're competing, not for anything, and definitely not for our son's love. Then I just held her close for a long time. Last night was heavy for both of us emotionally, but I think we're in a better place now. We ended up agreeing that, for now, chess can be something special just between my wife and our son. I'm happy to step aside and let them have that time together. Maybe down the road, when she feels a little more secure about everything, I'll jump back in and play with him again. Eventually, I do want to have a real talk with her about how everything went down and how it affected me, but that can wait. Right now, I'm just relieved she's doing better, and honestly, that I'm not going nuts either. Because for a while there, I really started to think I was losing it, haha. Right now, my wife and son are playing a game of chess together, and that makes me genuinely happy. Also, I'm looking into therapy for my wife. Reading through their thoughts, I started wondering if, deep down, my wife might have sabotaged me a little, maybe not even on purpose. Kids naturally don't enjoy always losing, so maybe she figured if I kept winning, our son wouldn't want to play with me, and he'd stick with her instead. It's tough to think about, but I don't blame her. Parents sometimes want to feel like they're the favorite in one little corner of their kid's world. It's not about being mean. It's just that quiet hope to have something unique, something special, that's just theirs. And sometimes, that makes people do things they don't fully understand themselves. Sometimes in life, especially in a marriage, people go through moments where their emotions just take over, and they don't know how to handle them well. I agree that she needs to find a healthier way to deal with that kind of stuff. But I also know she's in a really fragile place right now, and I want to approach this with care. We're going to take it slow and work through things together. This kind of behavior? It's not typical for her at all. In fact, nothing about how she's acted lately has been anything like her usual self. I've known her for almost half my life, and I've never seen her fall apart like that before, not even close. In that moment, when she lashed out, I don't think she even knew what she was doing. It wasn't like she was trying to hurt me. It wasn't a deliberate act of aggression. It felt more like she was just overwhelmed, like she couldn't hold it all in anymore, and it just exploded out of her. Her arms were flailing, not hitting with purpose. Her mind wasn't with her. It was like she was swept up in a storm of emotions, totally tossed around, no control. Yeah, I know hitting's not okay. And sure, The lying and gaslighting aren't okay either. We'll talk about it all. Therapy's probably going to be part of the path forward. But I'm not going to sit here and make her out to be some villain. She's human. People mess up. They get scared. They get overwhelmed. They make mistakes. You don't just give up on someone the first time they fall apart. That's not how I do things. And I'm choosing to stand by her and work through this with her, one step at a time.